found the time we were on Jay Leno out there in Hollywood. Little backstory on this, a few things. This was Jay Leno's last show before he was going to take a big Christmas break. So he was making frozen margaritas during the commercial break. And I don't remember if you could, I think there was one quick shot where you saw the blender, but he was blending up margaritas in between commercial breaks. On the show that day, and I got to meet them, was the band The Killers, who at the time I loved, and to this day I love The Killers. They have some great songs. And it was Mathew McConaughey. And I remember we were on the side of the stage. Good moment with Anthony. I'm trying to give you guys more good moments with Anthony instead of all the bitching and complaining. And I remember Anthony looked at me. He knew. Like, it was one thing to be on Letterman. You know, we grew up with Letterman being New Yorkers and stuff. But to be in Hollywood and about to step on stage with the Tonight Show was absolutely insane. And I remember Anthony said something like, remember this moment. He knew how big this moment was. Like, oh my God, remember this, take this in. Because at this point in our careers, we were doing magazine articles and photo shoots, and we were doing TV and appearances and comedy gigs. You know, I think we just assumed a lot. But I remember Anthony taking a breath and looking at me like, remember this. Like, he just knew. And with that said, here's our Jay Leno appearance. It's not that long. And I'll try to stop it and comment a little bit here.
My next guest hosts the most popular radio program in the country, the Opie and Anthony radio show.
I got to stop right away. The other part of the backstory here is that Jay Leno hated Howard Stern. It was one reason. I think it's one reason why he put us on, just to really shove it to Howard. And at this time, Stuttering John was working for Jay Leno. And Stuttering John absolutely put Opie and Anthony on Jay Leno's radar, Stuttering John. And Stuttering John knew that Jay was having this huge feud with Howard, and basically said, man, if you get these guys on the show, it'll drive Howard nuts.
Syndicated all around the United States. Can also be heard on XM satellite radio. Please welcome Opie and Anthony.
And I got to stop right there really fast. So you're looking at me in a giant shirt and also giant jeans. Keith the cop, who used to work for the Opie and Anthony show, his wife was in fashion at the time, and she put this together for me, a shirt and some very nice jeans. The problem was it was being shipped to LA, and I got the package, didn't even open it up until a couple hours before I was going to go on Leno. And I opened up this package, and the shirt was giant. I think there's clips in the back to make it look not as big. And my jeans were giant. And I had to have them clipped on the side so I could get away with it. And at that moment in time, I had no time to actually shop for something different. I had to wear these giant clothes on Leno. And we did everything we could to make them look not as big.
I don't think they have ever paid a fine officially, but a donation.
Officially? What have you been fined for?
We got into a couple of jam-ups.
I got to stop this for a second. So Mathew McConaughey has been listening, and he now gets involved with the interview. To this day, what's about to happen, I wish I had another chance at, because he takes a shot at me and Anthony here. I'll play it out and then I'll stop it. But to this day, I wish I had another shot of this. I knew what I wanted to say in my head, and I paused just enough where the moment passed me by because I was a little too nervous to actually say it, and I kicked myself to this day about it.
When
It's a jam up.
Yeah,
Well,
some bad words went out over the air. You know, you got those 7 that Carlin used to say.
You guys have 9. Yeah.
Yeah.
And to answer, and there may have been an incident where a couple had sex at a church, maybe.
I do. That was the big one.
Yeah, that was a big one.
Yeah, that was.
Yeah, we got like 2 years off for that.
Yeah, you guys fined for 2 years.
We were told we were fired, but we'll pay you to not go somewhere else. So we were getting paid for 2 years, which was kind of cool. But after like 6 months, you realize all your friends are working. Yeah.
I'm lost here for a second. You two were in a church?
No, not these two.
So he gets this killer line out. Just looking back and seeing that I'm just having a conversation with Matthew McConaughey. I'm like, what? So he gets that line. It obviously lands. And at this moment, I'm sitting there. And what I wanted to say to this guy, I kick myself to this day. I wanted to say I wasn't the guy that was playing bongos naked with other dudes. But I waited a split second. I was nervous to say it. And then the moment passed me by. But with that said, I mean, Matthew McConaughey just, landed a great line. You can see me tapping my my left knee. I was trying to get in there, and I was just too scared to try to land the line. But whatever, that was still awesome to look back at. I haven't seen that in years. And then we go to commercial, and Matthew McConaughey just leans over and he's just having a conversation with me. I remember him saying I want to listen to your radio show or something like that. And then I think I because I was feeling it. It's Hollywood. We're on Jay Leno's couch. I was like, you should come on the show. I never saw him again. I took a picture with him outside the green rooms, and his head was just giant. And then we go to break, and now we're so relieved that it's over and it went well, because you never know, man. And it was not my comfort zone to do TV shows in general. I got better over the years, but I was just a ball of nerves when I would have to appear on these shows. But then you breathe a huge sigh of relief. You're like, oh my God, it's over. You heard the audience laugh, and it went well. You also know that they will edit some of the stuff possibly if it was that bad. And then we go to commercial, and Jay Leno's like, hey, you guys want margaritas? And I'm like, yeah. And then he just pulls out a blender from behind where we were sitting and starts grinding up margaritas and hands it to us. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, while the Killers were playing, I think you could just see us in the background just casually sipping on margaritas, because we're done. We don't have to do anything anymore except, bask in the glory of the moment and hang out with Matthew McConaughey, and we're having margaritas, and Jay Leno wanted to know more about Howard Stern, and then the Killers are playing. It was just like, this is so surreal, man. So there you go.